I attended an online astral projection class and I wanted to share with you what I had learned. This was a 3-hour class, so I'm pretty much just going to summarize what I learned into a smaller video. Now, the person that runs this class is the lady that is actually the admin of Dolores Cannon's Facebook page. If you don't know who Dolores Cannon is, she is a very well-known person in the spiritual community. She has done an amazing work. She was a hypnotherapist that hypnotized thousands of people. She has like over 20 books out with her hypnotherapy transcripts. And she made a lot of discoveries about the universe and the earth and our souls and all that sort of esoteric type stuff. And so the lady that runs her Dolores Cannon's Facebook page, because Dolores Cannon died in about, I think, 2014, she also is involved in spiritual work as well. And so she's quite involved with astral projection. And there's a lot more to it than what I realized. And so this is why I want to do a video on it. It really fascinated me. So firstly, astral projection is an out-of-body experience. So it's when they say every night when we go to sleep, and I believe this as well, just based off my own experiences, that every night when we go to sleep, the soul leaves the body because it's the body that needs rest, the soul doesn't. And so it's kind of boring for the soul to kind of just hang around waiting for the body to wake up. So the soul leaves the body and you go off to the astral realm. So what the astral realm is it's known as 4D. So what we operate in now is we are in 3D. And what Dolores Cannon discovered through her hypnotherapy work is that humanity is going to evolve consciously. So we are going to evolve from 3D to 5D. 5D is a higher level of consciousness. Now, 3D is a physical realm. 5D is also a physical realm that is a higher vibrational energy, higher level of consciousness. And 4D is the non-physical astral realm for us, the people that are in 3D. So reality, there's different dimensions to reality. And she said it's like layers like an onion. So it's like you don't have to go from this place and physically go somewhere else to be in another dimension. It's already around us. So when we transition from 3D to 5D, which is the shift in consciousness that's happening on the planet right now, it's not like you have to get up and leave this reality and go to a different one. You will just shift, but still be in this reality, but you'll be in a different level of it, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like there's layers to this reality. And so what 4D is the astral realm for us that's in 3D. So when the people in 3D, when we dream, when we astral project, and when we die, we go to the 4D astral realm. When we shift to 5D, the astral realm for 5D is 6D. So 6D is non-physical. So it's like 3D is physical, 4D non-physical astral realm. 5D is physical, 6D is non-physical astral realm for the people in 5D. So the people in 5D, when they dream, when they astral project, and when they die, they will go to 6D. We also have a higher self that's connected to our soul that operates in 6D while we are in this 3D reality. Then above 6D is 7D, which is the last physical realm. And then above 7D is all the non-physical astral realms that's very high vibrational. So if you want to learn to astral project, you will go to the 4D realm. And I'm not going to teach the technique. We were taught the technique in the class on how to astral project, but I'm not going to teach it in this video because not something that I should be teaching because I've never astral projected. I'm not experienced in it. So I'm not going to share the technique in this video. However, if you want to learn more about it, I will link the lady's Facebook page at the end of this video. I would recommend, like, if you want to learn more about astral projecting and how to do it, I recommend to go follow her over on Facebook. So when we astral project, we go to the 4D. But she told us that in 4D, there are different levels to it. So there's the lower astral realm, then you have the middle astral realm, and then you have the upper astral realm. And because we are in 3D, which is a very low vibrational type reality, she said, you know, when you first start practicing astral projection, you will more likely go to the lower astral realms. And if you go to the lower astral realms, there is a few things you need to know about that, which I will share in this video in a minute. That's really important to know. Going to the middle and the upper astral realms is a lot more, because they're higher, they're a lot more magical, a lot more positive experiences, because you can have negative experiences in the lower astral realm. So when you die, she said you go to the higher astral realm in 4D. So that's like heaven, basically. So they teach the astral projection technique, and it's something you've got to put into practice. And when you start putting it into practice, it can be actually hard to stay out of the body. It's really easy just to get sucked straight back into the body. So it is something you've got to put into practice. I am wanting to practice this myself, but not at this point in time. And the reason being is because she talked a lot about astral protection, not just projection, but protection as well. And this was a real eye-opener for me. And that is, we have to learn to protect ourselves, because in the lower astral realm is a lot of predatory and parasitic type beings. So basically, trying to think how to explain this. There's a lot going on around us right now in 3D, but we cannot perceive it, because you can only perceive things that you're a vibrational match to. Our human eyes and ears only perceive so much. There's actually a lot more going on around us, and there's beings going on around us that we can't see, but they are actually there. This is why she says that reality's like layers. So we have these parasitic predatory beings that are around us all the time. They're operating in 4D. We can't see them. She says when we shift to 5D, when we go through that shift in consciousness, we will start seeing them. So, but while we're in 3D, we can't. But because we can't see them, that does not mean that they aren't around us, because they are. Another thing she pointed out as well, before I go more further into, I really wanted to talk about these predatory parasitic beings. But before I get into that, I also wanted to point out that when you astral project out of the body, you can actually see your spirit guides. So you're never alone. Your spirit guides are always around you. Again, you just can't see them. And so when you first astral project, you might be alone in your room at your house. And when you first astral project, you might be shocked to realize there's other people or beings in the room with you. That's happened to people where they freak out. There's like someone, you know, sitting in the corner of the room staring at them. But it turns out it's their spirit guide. Sometimes the spirit guide will hide themselves, so they might just choose to hide themselves so you don't see them for whatever reason. Or other times they may let you see them. Now, with these predatory parasitic beings that she was talking about, they're in the lower astral of the 4D astral realm, and there are different levels to these parasitic type beings. So she said that there's basically parasites, which are the most common but the easiest to get rid of, because what these predatory parasitic things do is they actually latch on to our energy field. You don't have to astral project to 4D to have them latch onto you. They can latch onto you while you astral project, which is why she taught us about how to protect ourselves from that happening. But we can still have these things latching onto us while we're in this 3D reality. This is something that I had no idea about until I did her class, and it really opened my eyes up. So you have parasites, which is the most common predatory parasitic beings that can latch on, but they're also the easiest to get rid of. After parasites is entities. Now, entities can be ghosts, which are humans that have died and haven't entered the light. Some of them don't even know that they're dead. So entities, again, they can latch on, and they're still easier to get rid of. The next one after entities, this is starting to get into the more stronger parasitic attachments, is demons. Demons are real, demons do exist. So as you astral project, this is why she was talking about protection and stuff, because when you first start astral projecting, because we're in a lower reality, a low vibrational reality, when you first start practicing, she says you're more likely to go to the lower astral realm. And this is where you can see scary things. You can see demons. And that's one thing that kind of scares me with practicing it. I want to be very clued up about these entities, and I just want to be very confident that I know what to do if I come across them whilst astral projecting, because I get spooked really easily, and I don't want one of these things to latch on. So yeah, she said the demons are real, and yes, they can latch on, and they can be a lot harder to get rid of. And then after demons, the last one, which these are the most rare to come across, but very difficult to get rid of, and that is the archons, which are basically demons that have been able to kind of transform themselves to be an even stronger demon. She says they're basically archdemons. So again, these things can actually latch onto us while we're in this 3D reality and not even realize it. The way these things latch on is when you're in a low vibrational state or you're hanging around a low vibrational environment. So it's like you could be, say, you're a mother that's lost her child. You're now in these low vibrations of grief. And being in a vulnerable state like that is when an entity can latch on. When these entities latch onto us, we can't see them, obviously, but they're latched onto our energetic field, and they siphon energy from us. Because they're like a parasite. They need a host to siphon from. And so these entities that latch onto us can cause us to feel depressed. You may be depressed and stuck in this depression and not know how to get out of it. And this could be caused by an entity that's latched onto your energetic field. You know, they could be responsible for alcohol problems, drug problems, even mental illness like schizophrenia or bipolar can actually be caused by entities that are latched on. And I was like, this is a real eye-opener, because I definitely think when I was in my lowest point in life, I definitely feel like I had an entity attached to me as well. They can keep us in these negative states. They can keep us abusing alcohol. And another thing she pointed out as well, and when she said this, it actually made me think of my dad. That is, the entity can cause people to drink. So they're drinking, and then have you ever noticed, you might notice a certain person in your life that when they get drunk, their eyes change. And they may even go black. Or they get blacked out drunk, and they don't remember. This can be caused by entities. And what the entity does is it gets a person to drink alcohol to the point where they're so drunk the entity's able to take over. She even talked about things like entities can be latched onto an abusive mother that's abusing her child. It could be the entity that's causing her to do that. And then the child, because the child can't handle all this abuse, so the child's soul checks out, and then the entity latches onto the child's body and kind of takes over the child. And she said this is how serial killers can be made. It can be caused by a demonic entity that's attached. So I thought this is actually really interesting information and very eye-opening. And she shared with us how, if we have an entity latched on, especially the easier ones like the parasites and the entities that are easier to get rid of, she shared with us a number of things that you can do to get rid of them. yourself. Like, you don't need to go see someone. There's a number of different things. If you want me to make a video on that, because I'm not going to go into it, I don't want this video to be too long, I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you're interested to know how, like, all the techniques you can use to get rid of these parasites or entities, like the easier ones to get rid of, let me know in the comment section. If there's enough interest, then I will make a video and share how to protect yourself. So there is a number of things that we can do to get rid of them ourselves, but if they are the more stronger entities or demons and archons, then you kind of need to go see someone like a shaman to get rid of it for you. You need to basically bring in the big guns to get rid of it. And she shared a story about this lady as well. This lady had a sore hip, and she had no reason to have a sore hip. There was nothing wrong with her, but she had a sore hip. She ended up walking into some shaman place, and the shaman could see the entity that was latched onto her, and it was this eel, like an eel-like entity that was like gnawing on her hip. It was like wrapped around her and gnawing on her hip. And so the shaman saw it and got rid of it for her. And then when you got rid of that entity, the pain in the hip stopped. So I was like, wow, this is really interesting stuff, eh? Because it can be causing a lot of problems in our 3D reality. And because we can't see it, and most of us don't have this awareness, it can be controlling so much negativity in our life. I was like, wow. So to avoid having things latch onto you, it's just keeping your vibrations high. If you're in a high vibrational state, they don't like high vibrations. They'll stay away from you. But it's when you're in a low vibrational state, or if you're hanging around low vibrational people in a low vibrational environment, or even, like places like a bar where people drink a lot, you can pick up entities there. She even said places like hospitals, you can pick up entities there. And she talked about portals. So there's portals that the entities come through from 4D to 3D to latch onto us. They literally will wait at the portal. So she said that you can have portals in the hospital, portals in the bar, just like in just low vibe areas, low vibe places, or around low vibe people. Entities can jump from person to person. The other thing she said about these entities and demons and stuff is that not all of them are beings with a soul. Some of them are thought forms, or they call them egregors. It's basically created by someone's subconscious mind, or the collective unconscious can create these thought form entities. So one of the things she said, when you're astral projecting, if you do come across like an entity, because these entities can be very manipulative and they try to trick you. And she said one of the things you can say to them is like asking for a name, because if they are a thought form, an egregor, they will not have a name. And if they can't give you a name, then that's how you can tell that it's a thought form. And you can also demand it, because they can change themselves to look like your family member to trick you. So she said to basically like demand it to show its true form. If you demand it in a commanding type voice, they have to show you their true form. So some of these egregors, these thought forms, were created by our subconscious minds. This is like, she was talking about how just by watching horror movies and you're seeing these scary, ghosts or zombies or, these creepy things in the horror movie, just by seeing it, like a number of people watching the movie and seeing it and believing in it can create this thought form entity in the 4D realm. So she said that there is a lot, like the 4D realm is very busy and there is a lot going on. There's a lot of these negative entities in the lower realm that kind of need to be cleared out. And a lot of them were just created by the subconscious mind of an individual person or a group of people or the collective consciousness. And so, yeah, there's just a lot going on there. But this is why through practice, you can make your way up from the lower realm into the middle and the upper realms. And that's when you start experiencing more magical stuff. And you can also actually communicate to deceased loved ones this way as well, depending on whether or not if they've incarnated in another life or if they haven't. It depends on that situation as well. When you leave the body, you can actually travel anywhere. You just think of where you want to go. You can travel all over the world. You can fly around like Superman. And I wanted to end this video sharing something that I think is very interesting to share about astral projection. And that is, I've seen a number of comments from people on Facebook. This is like at different points in time on different posts, people saying the same thing, which is why I believe it. I'm like, yeah, there's truth to this because there's so many people saying the same thing, experiencing the same thing. But like I say, you can, when you astral project, you can go anywhere. You just think about where you want to go. And you can, a number of people have astral projected to Area 51. So we know that in 3D physical reality, Area 51 is very guarded. You can't just go there. It's also protected in the astral realm because the CIA have documentation on astral projection. They've experimented with it. So this is all legit and very well known by the CIA. And people have said they astral projected to Area 51. Everyone had the same experience, said the same thing. These men in black pop up, so they've got the military or CIA or whoever have Area 51 protected in the astral realm as well. So when people go there, these men in black will pop up, tell them you are not allowed to be here. They said that they'll grab them, they throw them through a portal, and then they wake up in their bed. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So I think, yes, they do have it protected. And one last thing I'll share before I wrap up this video as well is if you astral project out of your body, you can visit your friends, you can visit anyone in your life, but you shouldn't do it without their permission because it's an invasion of their privacy. You can literally be watching them, you know, let's say your friend's at home in the garden with her blue flowers. And you could be watching her and then you could text her later like, oh, those blue flowers in your garden look cool. They'll be like, what? How did you know? And then it's like, because you were watching them from the 4D realm. Kind of creepy, you know, it's an invasion of privacy. But the point I'm getting to is that if with their permission, with a friend's permission, you can actually visit them. And by visiting them, you can see if they have an entity attached to them. So I thought that's another cool thing as well. If you kind of want to like help your friends out and just see if your friends have these entities attached too. Now the lady who ran this class, her Facebook page is called Astral Projection with Lara Star. So if you want to learn more about it, she's basically like the expert. She has a lot of knowledge in this field. Which is why I'm not going to teach the technique because I'm not in a position to be teaching this. But I highly recommend to follow her Facebook page if you do want to learn more, if you want to learn to astral project for yourself or even just learn more about these entities and how to protect yourself. If you like this sort of content, you know, spirituality, sometimes I talk about esoteric type stuff like astral projection, other times it's law of attraction, manifestation, quantum physics. If you like that sort of content, then hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. I hope you have an awesome day. Peace.